Welcome and thank you for joining. We're going to play trivia again shortly. We're experimenting with and have been for a few weeks now. We'll see how everybody likes it. And after the summer, maybe we'll think about doing things a little more seriously. But for now, it's just a bunch of fun. We'll play 3 games today. I set the categories today to general knowledge for all three. The last couple of weeks, we've been trying different categories, but I just want to give us a real mix of questions and answers for today. Oilers fan forever, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. And Jaden0428, my longtime dear friend, it's always good to have you in the house, so thanks for joining. And like I said, over the next few weeks, we'll just see how everybody feels about these games. I think it's really cool the way it plugs into the stream. And then we'll see what everybody thinks about categories, and I'll consider a way to mix things up and keep it fun for everyone, and hopefully more fun. Hopefully even more fun as time goes on. So we'll see. But thanks again for joining. And Andrew Heinrich, good to see you in the house. You're making me laugh in the chat. Good to have you here. So thanks for joining. Scratch and PPA, my dear friend. I was excited. Forgive me, because if you mentioned something was coming up on your channel before today, I hadn't seen it yet, but I did manage to catch that. I think it was on Instagram that I saw it first. Matty J88, good to see you in the house. Scratch and PPA looks like he might be adding an addition to the Scratch Challenge series of videos very soon. And he's got something special coming up next Monday. But thanks everybody for coming in again. I thought we'd give this another try, see how everybody enjoys it. We've been doing this for a few weeks now, and we'll see what happens closer to the end of the summer. Today's games will just be general knowledge, so that it's a great mix of hopefully everything. Even outside of some of the categories, one of the things that happens if I set a category like entertainment, or get even more specific and say music, movies, television, things like that, I feel like even if we mix the categories up to science, geography, history, sports, and all the other typical ones, we're still going to miss out on some things that may not immediately be at the forefront of my mind, right? So that's why I like mixing them up, but we'll see how everybody feels about the categories, and we'll see what we're going to do towards the end of the summer. I did expect to post this stream a little bit earlier than I did, obviously not setting it up until today, but we'll get next week's stream, which will be at approximately the same time, set up much earlier. I'll probably do it an hour earlier too. I think I meant to probably have it done between 10 and 11, but hopefully everybody's okay for today. Next week we'll bump it back an hour or so. And we got just over a minute to go, so thanks everybody for hanging out. Can you imagine? Yeah, if we hit 20 likes, you need a lot more likes than that. The problem is, Oilers fan forever, we'll lose everyone as soon as I start. I once worked on a cruise ship just for one summer, and during that time, I had to host karaoke. And for anybody that's been to karaoke, you know that a common joke with the host of any karaoke show is to say that, hey, if somebody doesn't come up and sing right now, you're going to have to listen to me sing. And I was trying to tell everybody, I was like, but you, like, it's not a joke. You really don't want me to try to sing. I had to do it a couple of times, but I'm sure it was as entertaining as you imagine. I'm going to have to see, Jaden, what I'm going to do about that. The problem is I think I filled my plate a little bit too full again. And the expense of running the music stream the way I've been running it has doubled over the last year. The company I was using for a server doubled their price, literally. And I have to really consider how we're going to work that out. But again, thanks everybody for playing along. And we'll play 3 games for 20 minutes each or so. And the first one's going to start in just a moment. Yes, we can whistle if we can't sing. Whistle in the shower, maybe. And here we go. Green Eggs and Ham, one of my favorite books of all time, is a book by which author? I used to describe that as my favorite book of all time, but the joke got old pretty quick. And like I said, this is general knowledge today, so the questions and answers are going to be mixed up between every category we can probably consider. She Stole My Thunder, fellow Canadian, is in the house from Montreal. Good to see you here. Thanks for coming in. And thanks everyone for playing along. It's surprising. Oilers fan forever. I have on another social network. We were talking a little bit before the stream, and they were saying, "Come on, just give me the answers," like a joke. The funny thing is, even though the jokes are all, or the answers are all in the background, I really don't do more than just skim them very quickly, just to make sure there's nothing like terrible in there. But it's all built in. I still haven't plugged in another AI system or anything. So Batty J88 and Scratch and PPA, good work. I don't know why it's doing that again. I looked everywhere I could for a setting today to see if there was something that had changed that made it that only two people get put up each time we do this and flip the screens. I couldn't find it, so I'm just going to have to keep looking and reset it. Sean Barnes, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. What does Solid Snake use to hide himself with? And this one, I'm reading the question. I don't even have a clue what on earth we're talking about here. So I joke about this, but I'm no trivia mogul or anything like that. I have a feeling I'll be learning as much as everybody or more as we do these every week. Mima Flowers, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. And we'll see what all of you seem to know that I don't. Now that the answers are coming out. Also, a cardboard box. All Oilers fan forever and Andy Heinrich. What on earth are we talking about there? Where is Solid Snake from? I imagine that needs to be a TV show or a book or a movie or a story of some sort. And each one of these games will have its same 10 questions that we're used to. The metric prefix atto makes a measurement how much smaller than the base unit? If I'm even pronouncing that right. I have to admit, I don't know the answer to this one either. And this is what I mean. The answers are all there. You can look at them as the host of the show. You can go through and see. But I don't want to take the fun out of it and accidentally slip and give an answer either. There could be some more features available with the system, but we'll learn as we go. I did pay for the first level of it today. We were using the trial version up until last week. So we'll see, and hopefully it'll be something we continue with. 1/quadrillionth. So Oilers fan forever and Matty J88. Good work. Oh, sorry. Oh, actually, no. You both guessed. I'm not reading the screen properly. 1/quadrillionth is what it, or quintillionth is what it would have been. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't remember that. If we'd ever learned that. In which year was the pen and paper RPG Deadlands released? That one, I have to admit, I don't know either. Does RPG is Dungeons and Dragons included in that category of video games, or it doesn't have to be video games, but obviously games? I was given the very first edition of Dungeons and Dragons, the real game, when I was a very young lad as a Christmas present. Sean Barnes, yeah. Um, Interesting, but I don't know Deadlands or haven't played it or haven't otherwise probably seen it except for maybe in passing. Dr. Seuss was the easy one. This is the thing about general knowledge questions is these can come from just about anywhere as opposed to categories. And then after a little while, I'll put a poll up. We'll see what everybody thinks. Would you rather have categories or have it unknown? Within an hour, we can fit 3 of these almost 20-minute games in. And in past weeks, we've done things like had movies, music, entertainment, sports, science, history, geography. Which machine element is located in the center of fidget spinners? That I'm sure I know, but I'll tell you the truth if I'm wrong. 1.21 gigawatts. Yes, Maddie J88. There you go. Yeah, She Stole My Thunder agrees about D&D as well. And Rich Cat Ranch, good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, I'm going to start setting these in advance as well. I almost promised that I was going to do it earlier this past week, but I didn't set it up until today. But I'll set the next one up, maybe even right after this. Either right after this or I should be able to find time tomorrow to get it set up. We'll do it again next week, probably an hour earlier than today. I wasn't thinking when I set it up. I should have set it up an hour earlier. And there we go. Bearings. Yes, I have owned a small number of fidget spinners. Andy and Sean, good work. I should, should be able to know that just from having a few of them. I always want to see what everything is, right? Especially when things make their way into pop culture and take the world by storm, like these toys and things like that. I won't probably be going to see the Barbie movie, but some things just literally come up so fast, right? The HBO series Game of Thrones is based on which series of books? I wonder if we've seen that question before. There seems to be quite a few Game of Thrones questions floating around there. That's another show I didn't watch, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if anybody will find that surprising. Oh, is She Stole My Thunder's going to see Barbie? Yeah. I think it's really interesting. I noticed I keep seeing promos. My dad watches a lot of home renovation shows, so when I'm visiting him regularly, he'll have the same couple of TV stations or shows on, and the promos for this real-life Barbie dream house mansion thing come up all the time where they're building. I'm sure it's long over. I'm sure they've already built it, but I see the promos for the house all the time. Boy, is it pink. So Sean and a few others, everybody seems. A Song of Fire and Ice. Interesting. Like I said, I'm probably learning as much as anybody, or maybe more. The game's rigged. Oilers fan forever. I think that was actually an easy guess too, Sean Barnes. I think I would have guessed it if I'd have seen the idea. I understand to the smallest bit what the show's likely about, but and have Cheeto of you, Patrick, a long time friend as well. Thanks for coming in again. He's been here almost every week as well, I think. What is cynophobia the fear of? Oh, we answered that last week. I'm almost certain. I could be wrong. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we saw that question last week. I did refresh them, but it's a internal AI system. It's not. Yeah, I can see lots of room for improvement in the system that we're using. After a little while longer, at some point, I'll start manually setting the questions up. I'll probably use ChatGPT or something like that to make sure we don't run into the same questions again and again. And we'll discuss categories and things like that as well. Dogs, Andy and Scratch and PPA. I might be wrong. Maybe we didn't answer that question exactly last week. I thought we did. I thought we saw that. That question was on Vic BC Friday night. Oh, interesting. According to the nursery rhyme, what fruit did little Jack Horner pull out of his Christmas pie? I can't even remember the I can't remember the nursery rhyme now. I'm trying to go over it in my head. And I think over the years, too many people have changed the idea of that nursery rhyme into undesirable talk. So my guess will likely be very wrong. Thanks again, everybody, for playing along. We've got another couple of questions to go. Yeah, I'm actually at Jeff's place right now, hence the green screen. There you go. Thank you, Andy. Rich Cat Ranch, and I think everybody got that one. I got those robots in the chat dropping those messages once in a while. That was one that I put in there from the old convoy days when we were in Ottawa, because there was so much trolling going on, trying to deter the smallest amount of that, but I thought we'd just leave it anyway. Who wrote A Tale of Two Cities? And then one more question to go, but we'll still do two more games just like this. It's interesting how these questions are varied. There you go, Andy. Yeah, I wondered about that. I wondered about a couple of those answers. That's the tough part about playing a game like this, is you get the opportunity to have fairness in that you hit the question and it's registered like by the chat, by the computer, and everything else. The only problem is you got to work with speed, so making a mistake is easy. And good work, Rich Cat Ranch again, and several other people in the chat got that, which is great. In the Assassin's Creed series, what was the name of Desmond Miles given by Abstergo? Am I pronouncing that even close to right or correctly? And these are just, I'm using the excuse that these are test streams, but when it's time to be a little more serious about this, I will start going through the questions and trying to have a clue of what on earth we're talking about. Yes, Andy. So that I can do a bit of a better job of hosting. Is this another mistake with the system too, with the subject 18, subject 17? What on earth are they doing there? That was an interesting outcome. I'm just dropping a poll in the chat. I'll put it up in a second here. We're not under a time constraint pardon me, we're not under a time constraint either, because when you use the free version of this particular program from Live Reacting, the free credits that they give you for the live streams, they want to knock it off automatically after an hour. When you pay for it, you pay in 4 hour increments. So I've got enough here to let us go for overtime if we need to. It won't be 10 minutes. We can take a break for a few minutes, Oilers fan forever. I set them up in advance, and as far as I can see, there's no way to change it. The only change I can do is to not click the next thing right now, but once I click it, that's it. The game's got to go. I don't think there's a way to stop it or even pause it by the look of it. Still got a lot to learn here. I'm going to drop that poll, and we'll get the next game just about ready to go. I've got 3-minute timers to get them started. You guys can let me know what you think. Thank you, Matty J88. So Andy Heinrich took that one with Oilers fan forever and Scratching PPA. Great. I'll hit the next one. We still got a few minutes to chill if anybody needs to get a drink or anything else. And thank you, everybody, again for playing along. And hopefully everybody's enjoying these. It really is an experiment for now, and we'll see if it moves along as I start to promote more, as I start to mention it more, and we correct a few things. Then when we get closer to the end of the summer, we'll see if this is something that we want to continue and maybe even take to the next level. And then thank you, Andy. And I really do appreciate everybody hanging out too. Again, I didn't post this until today, obviously, but I'll get the next one going. Maybe I'll set it up right after this. We'll set it for 10 p.m. Eastern next week. I'll do it before I shut the system off today. RF is killing us softly. Good to see you in the house. Yeah, sing us a song next intermission. Yeah, I got to see about background music on this thing too. As far as I understand, it can be done with limits like everything else. All these online services, they run on servers and things like that, so they have to consider bandwidth and everything else. And get a few power users on a system like this, and they could start bleeding it dry pretty fast. That's why a lot of these companies end up putting new limits on everything and raising their prices so high, is because if there's a way to take advantage of something, people will find it. When I was running the music channel streams 24 hours a day, the system I was using wasn't meant for 24-hour live streaming. Now they've all but doubled the price. So I think they caught on to a few people using it in ways that they probably hadn't considered. So the next game is coming up, and we've got one more after that, but there'll be 10 questions each, and they're all general knowledge. I'm learning a lot today. I think I would have gotten one question right out of the last 10, and might have had a couple of lucky guesses. Oilers fan forever is having too much fun. And thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. We're almost ready to go. Who painted the Mona Lisa? I know this is a popular trivia question because I've actually seen it before when starting this experiment. It was, I believe, one of the very first questions that had come up. Andy's always quick on the draw there. Rich Cat Ranch, too. I think there's debate about it too. I'm not sure if it was the Mona Lisa. There was something about one of the pictures. Actually, She Stole My Thunder might know. Um, there was talk. I read something actually recently as well about the idea that where they found the painting was not necessarily where it was started. So good work, Andy. I think everybody got that one actually. Yeah. Yeah, you're aging me just a little bit there. She Stole My Thunder. I always say She Stole My Thunders with me on I think every channel now, and I always say I look older. I'm older than you think I am, based on my looks. But she's aged me quite a bit. The Stock Explorers here from Florida. Good to see you in the house. And what year was the game Team Fortress 2 released? That one I have to admit I wouldn't know. Oh, anywhere to darken the green color? You mean on my green screen? Yeah, I got lights back here. The green screen is, all but useless right now, just because we're doing what we're doing. But when I use this green screen as a background when I do my other things, then the lights are necessary. Yeah, I'm at Jeff's place right now, Jaden. For those of you who don't know what on earth we're talking about, I work with a fellow named Jeff, and when I'm working with him and we have a job that lasts like more than a day or two, then I just stay at his place. He's got the room, but for that reason, I have a green screen that I can just use whenever I need here. And then thanks everybody again for playing along. Harvard University is located in which city? I imagine a lot of our American friends will be able to figure that out. Oh, look at that. Yeah, you're right, Andy. And Sean Barnes, good work. Wow. That had a couple of people fooled. I'm assuming all the answers are correct because, again, I haven't taken them from outside of this system. It's got an AI system in the background that picks the questions and answers. You can go through and change them up. You can add your own if you want to. And later on, as we continue the series, I'll think about importing questions from another AI system. Who turns out to be the true victor in the Battle of Armageddon in Mortal Kombat? It's amazing how these franchises, they come up with a game, or games can turn into movies and television shows now. Television shows can turn into movies and games now. They can make a game about anything. Yeah, Jaden, I'm at Jeff's place today. I always thought it was Boston as well. She Stole My Thunder, but I thought that came from, or at least Massachusetts. But that I thought that was I thought they were talking about Harvard in the movie I've seen 100 million times, which is The Social Network, the Facebook movie. Shao Kahn, interesting, if I'm pronouncing that right. The Stock Explorer got that. The first Mario, yeah, Andy. I'm lucky enough to have a couple of those classic consoles. They came out many years ago. A couple of my friends started going like really crazy, like hoarding a lot of them with the intention of flipping them. And I got my hands on a couple. In the 1992 film Army of Darkness, what name does Ash give to his double-barreled shotgun? I didn't see Army of Darkness. She stole my thunder. That's a nice line, actually. Aramoon, good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. I forget, forgive me, what you might have said last week about, I thought you said something about the time or wondering if they would still be on. I'll schedule this one right away after we're done before I shut my machine down for the night and everything. We'll do it next week again, but at 10 p.m. Eastern instead of 11. Jamie Hart, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. I just make them really late because if I have to work or something like that, I don't want to be mistaken about the start time. Boomstick is the answer. Interesting. But they did put a trick answer in there as well. And thanks everybody again for hanging out and for playing. We're halfway through the second game. We got another one to go. They take just under 20 minutes each. They got 10 questions each. But we're not in a rush today either. In Breaking Bad, Walter White is a high school teacher diagnosed with which form of cancer? I should remember this, and I don't think I do. I watched Breaking Bad. I don't think I finished, actually. I don't think I got through like the last season of it. Did we miss a premiere from Jamie Hart today? For anybody that has a channel in the chat, you can just type link and Nightbot will drop a link for everybody else to easily be able to connect to you with, if that makes sense. Similar to what they just did there. Lung cancer, yeah. I would have got that wrong guessing. Should have remembered that. I think it's longer ago than I thought. Some of the TV shows to me seem to drag on. They could have been done in 3 seasons, but it took 6 and things like that. Lost, I watched and I jumped off the couch in the last episode, yelled at the TV. I was so angry about the ending. I'm like, I waited 3 extra seasons for this? British actor David Morrissey stars as which role in The Walking Dead? No music stream tonight, Jaden, but thank you for asking. Oh, that makes sense. The Stock Explorer. If I was to think about it, I might have remembered that, but not so much. Oh, yeah. If anybody thinks they might be behind in the chat, if something's not making sense, please refresh. I can't remember if the DVR is on right now for this stream. I can't remember if there was an option to turn that off or not. I'll try to fix it right now if I can. The governor, interesting. Yeah, I would have got that wrong guessing. I don't know the pardon me, I don't know the show well enough or the actors. I don't follow enough actors. Oh, the DVR is on. That's why. The DVR is the system that lets people reverse and forward during a live stream. What is the name of Nissan's most popular electric car? This one I don't know either. Wow. See, things like this, right? I don't know what category a question like this might come into other than general knowledge. So if we'd have done anything with categories, it might not have come up. I did put a poll up as well if anybody hasn't answered it already, just to let me know what you think about these this week with just general knowledge. The questions are all mixed and jumbled, as opposed to using categories like movies, music, television, sports, science, history, geography, and things like that. Yeah, Jaden, thank you. If anybody refreshes now, the DVR shouldn't be working. Sand fireball, yeah. The leaf. Interesting. I always learn a lot when we do this, actually. Whether I retain any of the information, I don't know. But trivia is that much more fun for that reason, right? Scratch and PPA pointed that out after the first episode. What is the name of the island that Jurassic Park is built on? And any of our Canadian friends might say Toronto or Ontario. We call the square outside the what now I believe is the ACC, right? Is it the Air Canada? No, they've changed it to Scotiabank Center now, right? And where the Toronto Maple Leafs play, and the Toronto Raptors, who are recent champions as well in basketball. And because of the Raptors, we call that area Jurassic Park now whenever they play. Yeah, there won't be a Nissan Leaf for me. One of these days, I will probably get another car. I drive a Ford F-150, but it's 10 years old. It's got 300,000 kilometers on it, and it still drives almost like the first day. It's barely broken in. I take very, very good care of it, I must say, and it's starting to rust and all that, but I'm trying to figure out what I can do about controlling that. Good work, Andy, and she stole my thunder. Oh, Oilers fan forever. If it's typed exactly like this, exclamation mark link. Nice, Andy. Wow, yeah, Hummer's a nice, substantial vehicle, that's for sure. That's the whole idea behind having a truck, is that you keep it forever and then the family has it to use, right? In the Halo series, which era of Spartan is Master Chief? Before I ever started watching YouTube myself, my son growing up would watch it. And there was a series, Master Chief and somebody else. Somebody was making these videos, and they had little, like actual dolls, and they would make these storylines. It was pretty funny. This is from the video game Halo, I guess. I'm assuming it's the game and not the movies that followed. But thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. I really do appreciate every moment everybody can be here. And there we go. We'll see our results in another moment. Good work, Rich Cat and Era. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. And we still got another game to go. After the results come up, we'll wait another moment, and then I'll click over. We'll still have a 3-minute timer if anybody needs to get a drink or anything else. And thanks, everybody, for answering the poll, by the way. It's interesting because it's not as far skewed as I would have guessed. So out of 17 votes, we've got general knowledge and categories barely different. I'll leave it up just in case anybody else comes in and it happens to move a little bit more. So Andy, Rich Cat, and she stole my thunder. Congratulations. You took the top 3 positions there. I think Rich Cat Ranch and she stole my thunder actually tied, but the system has to pick, and I guess it does that based on speed. But that's a guess. I'm still learning about the system. Hopefully everybody's enjoying these, and the intention is to keep them going. We'll expect to do these every Monday now, basically for the rest of the summer. What I recommend to people, everybody here probably knows I've been on YouTube for a while now, and I talk about YouTube a lot. And one of the things I try to encourage people with is the idea, sometimes we think about starting second and third YouTube channels and stuff like that, and it's a lot more work than I wish on anybody, I promise you. But what I recommend to everybody is to start a series of videos, maybe 10 or 12 times, to get a real feel for it, to decide if you want to break off into another channel and do it, or if you want to keep it as a series, or if you want to scrap the idea altogether. So here, this is just an experiment for now. And then as we get closer to that 10 or 12 episode mark, then I'll see whether we're going to continue. Rich Cat Ranch, it's been a little bit better today. I think we hit 25 or 26 degrees Celsius. And the Fahrenheit on that, if I think about it, is about 84, 85. Is that right? Double it and add 32 is how we make that calculation. I don't know why that works, but that's just the way that it works, right? The last couple of weeks, I think last week was not too terrible, but we've had a couple of hot weeks. Nothing like last summer. Last summer, I cried and whined and screamed and yelled and complained more than you've ever heard. Last year was hot, humid, with no relief of any kind, right until mid-September. I was just screaming. She stole my thunder's got a different way of measuring the temperature. But yeah, I understand there's record numbers happening of different things in different areas, but I insist, even if I'm wrong, that last summer was worse than this summer where we are. And I split my time between Niagara Falls and Toronto. So in southern Ontario, share weather basically with upstate New York. Yeah, Stock Explorers in Florida, so they know all about hot weather. Yeah, Andy, you have to wonder about a lot of what you see these days. And forever before now, forever before we have to look, and all the things we've learned, we have to question. First thing I ask every time anybody sends me anything now is that real? Is that true? Is it even provable? Which one of these was not a beach landing? Was not a beach landing site in the invasion of Normandy? And thanks again, everybody, for playing along. Again, we're not in a rush today. So I did actually pay for the first pro level of whatever this system has got. They got quite a few things in here. They got other things like a crossword game and word searches and things like that. But trivia was what I was after. That's how I found this. Really cool that it plugs into the chat this way. Justin Jones, good to see you in the house. Thank you for being here. This one I'll be learning for sure. This answer I would have been hesitant to even guess. And there you go. Andy, and she stole my thunder again. Rich Cat Ranch, as they guessed, yeah. I wonder how we'll do these after as well with the number of questions. In the Rossini opera, what was the name of the Barber of Seville? Hopefully, I'm pronouncing those right. I feel like I should know this. I feel like this is something I actually learned and should know the answer to. Probably based on the fact that everybody's guessing the same way. uh, yeah, Andy. You know what I can't get over? Every time I hear the other one too, where the Bugs Bunny episode where they're massaging what's his name's head, and that song is on, na 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 na, and I can't. Every time I think about that, it's in my head for an unreasonable amount of time. Very similar to what you're talking about there. I feel like I remember that as well. Unless that's the same thing we're talking about. Shows you how little I know. Oh, goodness. What does that stand for on the skull in the Halo series? IWHBYD. See, now everybody's answering, and I wonder, do you guys know this, or are you guessing? I wonder how many people guess that after out of thinking that they know, as opposed to just pure guessing. Yeah, look, see, I figured that. Look, it's everybody's guessing. But a couple of you managed, Rich Cat Ranch and Andy, to get that right. Now you're making me laugh. Oh, there you go, Scratch and Pete. Yep, except for the first one. These are really tough. My attention span wouldn't have been able to handle this. Uh, Me personally, I think I like the idea of categories, but then what I would do is I wouldn't want to play if it was a category I didn't like. When was the game Portal 2 released? Lots of gaming questions. A couple of Halos there, quite a few gaming questions, and there's you could use that, I believe, as a category here. But like I said, this system that I'm using, it's called live reacting. Has nothing to do with actual reacting the way we talk about it on YouTube, but it's just called live reacting, livereacting.com or whatever. And my intention is to use an outside system like ChatGPT or something else to get questions in a way that will allow us to not run into the same question twice within a reasonable amount of time, like hopefully many months or a year even, and really get the categories mixed up so we're not seeing the same things again and again. No two Halo questions in one game or anything like that. And look at that. 2011 was the answer. I would have not known that. The good thing about this system and the fact that we answer in the chat is that there's no time for a Google search or anything like that. So interesting. Our moon, like science, geography, and history. Whereas for me, I would likely go with much easier entertainment like movies, music, and trivia. I mean, music, movies, and television. Ugh. Which universe crossover was introduced in the which universe crossover was introduced in the Sonic the Hedgehog comic issue number 247? I used to think that these were the best. When I was a kid, I used to spend some of my allowance money on comic books. I used to put them in all the protective sleeves. I'd read them, but I'd try to take care of them. I not to ever sell, but I actually just wanted them looked after. But my favorite day was when GI Joe and the Transformers got together. I thought that was so cool. I always used to think, even as a young kid, wouldn't it be the best joke in the world if Coke and Pepsi were the same company? Now you see all kinds of stuff. It's every day. Right now, one of the things I see in all the gas stations are Sprite flavored Tic Tacs everywhere. Always these collaborations, right? Nuclear physics instead of games. Stole my thunder, likes music and science categories. What we'll do another day is I'll put a poll up asking about the specific categories and see what everybody likes. Oh, sarcasm, I'd get that right away. And unreasonably offensive things like Family Guy and a little bit of South Park in that. I'd probably embarrass myself by getting too many of those answers right. Am I going to get this right? Is Ms. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, who is Kobayashi's maid? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, this one I wonder as well. I wonder if anybody's thinking that they know or if we're on guessing mode again. Yeah, Rich Cat Ranch, today I just used the AI system that's included to just say general knowledge, and I barely skimmed over the questions. Yeah, welcome to the all video game quiz. Yeah. That's one of the things I want to consider, right? Not to mention how long would everybody like these streams to go on? We'll just go for the rest of this game right now, another few questions, but the last few weeks we've done them an hour at a time, but they can go for almost any amount of time, and we'll have to see what everybody thinks. What's the second book in George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series? See, it's interesting because we're getting, you see what I mean, how we're getting questions, like Halo was an obvious one, but this, again, A Song of Fire and Ice, or A Song of Ice and Fire, why are we hearing about that twice in one game? Mike Fammy, good to see you in the house. Yes, we've been on for a little while, but absolutely, yeah. Hopefully it's fun. We're just playing for fun. There's no, like, pardon the pun, end game to this or anything. It's just literally an experiment. Mike Fammy's also from Toronto. Somebody I knew outside of YouTube, as a matter of fact, and reconnected after we started our YouTube channels. Yeah, I am perplexed at Scratch and PPA's announcement. So good work, Oilers fan forever. A Clash of Kings, interesting. I saw Pete's post today. I think Instagram I saw it first and then on Facebook afterwards, and I don't typically scroll, pardon me, but I saw his graphic today. I'd encourage anybody to search out Scratch and PPA on the other social networks. He does a lot of lottery ticket scratching on his channel, but he's got an interesting twist that makes his channel a one-of-a-kind out of the lottery ticket scratching channels that I've seen. But he's got an announcement coming up next Monday, and he's let us know that there's going to be a teaser, and I wonder if that's it, the Stock Explorer, but I have a feeling there's more to it. I have a feeling I've got a bit of a clue as to half of it, I think, but for the bowl and the spoon, I'm perplexed. And pardon me, because I didn't even read that question. Which of the following games has the largest map size? The Witcher, The Elder Scrolls, Just Cause, or Grand Theft Auto, my game of choice. I'm surprised that's not it. Um, yeah, Just Cause I haven't played. I haven't played any of them, actually, except for Grand Theft Auto. That's a game I always go back to. I think we have a tentative almost release window for Grand Theft Auto 6. I think they say it's coming sometime between, was it March 2025? I think they said, or something like that might be an idea, sometime between now and then. The drug cartel run by Pablo Escobar originated in which South American city? And here's a mistake as well. You see that sometimes these, answers and questions and things from the internal system don't seem to like the quotation marks and other punctuation that the system puts in there. So it's an interesting glitch, but I'll try to get that removed. You can preview all the questions if you sit there and go through them. So towards the end of the summer, when we're doing this a little more seriously, if we're going to continue, I'll go through and try to remove like all the different mistakes and do a better job of picking questions, and we'll decide on categories and things like that. No one over 50 knows the gaming stuff. So good work, Rich Cat and Andy again. Yeah, it's interesting because, for generations, I grew up with Sega, Nintendo, and things like that, and I left games for a long time. And I don't make a lot of time to play, but I did go through a big Grand Theft Auto phase for a long time, especially through Grand Theft Auto 4 and the beginnings of Grand Theft Auto 5. Which of these elements is a metalloid, if that's the right way to pronounce that? And then... but now, for anybody born after me, then you will have things like, especially for the next couple of generations, parents playing video games. And very soon, if not already, you're going to have grandparents that are not just playing video games like on classic systems, but literally fanatics. I plan to always have an Xbox of some kind and Grand Theft Auto on it. I have given that company too much money over the years, way too much money. Big ups indeed. WPGMB is in the house. Thanks for coming in. Good work, Rich Cat. We'll see the results of our third game here. So thanks everybody for playing along. I really do appreciate every moment everybody can spend here. This literally is an experiment, but I hope everybody's enjoying it. It seems so. And I'll schedule the next one right now. So it will be within the next hour or so. And it will be set for next Monday, same day, an hour earlier, so that we can get moving on it a little bit faster. And over time, we'll see how everybody feels about categories. Thanks, everybody, for answering that poll. It's interesting that it's kind of undecided here. The scale is not very well tipped towards categories, but that's interesting. I think it needs to go longer. Thank you, Aramoon. I do appreciate that. I'm not prepared to do another one right this second. I don't think I can. I don't think you can adjust it while it's running, actually. But we'll consider that as well. And maybe next week I'll prepare to have a little bit more just in case everybody wants to keep it going. I'm also trying to consider whether we should split it up in games like this. We just played 3 20-minute games of 10 questions each, or whether we should just have one game of like 30 or 40 questions or whatever number. But we'll see. We'll see what everybody thinks about that. But thanks again, everybody, for playing. I really do appreciate that. And we'll close it down for now. And then if you have any feedback for me, if you want to let me know something you've noticed, something you think I should change, or something that could make it more fun, just leave me a comment after the live stream ends if you don't mind. I will go through them and make sure that I see, and then we'll see everybody again next Monday. Thanks, everybody.